Hello YouTube, Xisuma here with another episode of Xisuma's World. So, some of you were expecting this to be the last episode in the second season, and that's not going to be the case anymore because I've decided to split the last episode up into two parts, and that's just because it was taking me a really long time to do. So in the last episode I had two things that I wanted to do, the first of which was a project that's hidden behind this wall, and you're going to have to wait to the next episode to find out what that's about. But the other thing that I was doing is going around Atlantis and fixing up lots of different things. There's lots of loose ends that need tying up so I could get everything ready for the promotional video. So I've already filmed a lot of stuff to do with that, and we're going to cut to that footage in a moment, and after that we'll come back and continue working on lots of little jobs around Atlantis, and then the next episode will be focused on what's behind there. So let's cut to the footage. So there's a few jobs that need doing. On the left here we want to extend this breeding cells. Hopefully we'll get one or two more extra in there. And on the right we've got the pig breeding machine that needs fixing up because it's got one or two little bugs with it. And then down here we've got the shearing bay, and I've got a solution that someone's given me for our problem with the fence gates here, and that's the first thing that I'm going to be doing. I think all of the wheat farm is finished, so there might be one or two little things that I've forgotten about down there. And as well as that, we've got something in the middle here that I haven't even talked about yet, so I'll leave that as a surprise for now. Yeah, and then over the back at the quarry, I want to sort out the floor, and there's probably a couple of other little places around here that need touching up and sorting out. But other than that, I think it's almost finished, and what I want to do at the back here is put down a really nice pattern on the floor, because I've kept it all at this level, and as it gets further and further out, as we dig more and more sand away, it kind of just going to look messier and messier. And this is a temporary wheat farm that I'd set up before I made the big one down the bottom there. But anyway, yeah, I want to make a nice pattern on this floor, and also I want to finish off this tunnel, and down there we've got a couple of things left to do in the storage area that I forgot about. So yeah, let's move on to fixing the shearing bays. So let's move on to the shearing bay. This is the first thing I'm going to be working on, and someone's already given me the solution to this. They made a video response and it was really great. What they did was put a piston the other side of this and make it a bud switch. So then when you right clicked on the fence gate, you would not only open it and let the mushrooms fall down, you'd actually activate the redstone as well, so it would do this, and then the fence gate would close. So it's pretty much an all-in-one solution. Rather than pressing the button, we just press the fence gate and then everything works. So I'm going to start implementing that, and I don't think I'll run into any problems, so I should be showing you it when it's finished. This turned out to be really simple, and it only took a couple of modifications to the redstone to get it to work. So I've chucked some items in there, and of course if it lands on top of the fence gate it doesn't matter because we activate this by opening it. So this is going to set off the bud switch, and that's going to activate the pistons that push up. So instead of pressing a button, we can now just press that. And if you don't know how a bud switch works, basically this block here is powered and it's not powering the piston because of some sort of bug, I'm not quite sure. But when an update happens around the piston, it's going to actually realise that it's being powered, and then it will extend the piston. So we right click on the fence gate, and that causes the block update. So this is the other side of the piston. This block extends and then it gets powered by this redstone wire. Then the repeater takes that power and powers this redstone wire, and because it points into this block, it unpowers the original line that was powering the bud switch, so it kind of resets itself, and then this branches off and controls the other piston for pushing the items out, and the double extending one down here as well. So let's just do that one more time. There you go, you can see it in action. And when this receives a block update, it closes, so that's how it closes itself. I've now finished wiring all three of these, and the only one I had trouble with was that one over at the back there. The room was a little bit limited to work with, so I had to change the circuit a bit, but it works just fine. There we go, so that's that one done, and now we're going to move on to something else. This doorway here was supposed to lead to a redstone room, but because the shearing bay above doesn't need any redstone, it's now just doing nothing. So rather than fill in this wall, I thought we could make use of this space and put in a mushroom refill stand, so I can say thank you to one of my donators. And it feels like a good location because we're actually quite far away from the ones up at the top of Atlantis. So let's say thank you to donator number 3, who I've just spent the last couple of minutes trying to pronounce your second name, and I really can't, so sorry, but thank you very much, Robert. Your mushroom's name is Berta, and it's baby Berta at the moment because it's waiting for her to grow into an adult. But there we go, I've done something a little bit different with this one, and I think I'd like to do that with each of the mushroom stands that I make in the future. Get to be creative and do something different. So anyway, let's move on. The next thing I want to do is finish building this animal breeding machine. So first of all I want to dig this back as far as it goes and figure out how many breeding cells we can fit in here. And then after we've built them I need to add the ladders on the sides so I can get up to the top. I've finished digging out the back of this room and it turns out there's enough space for 2 more cells. So I'm going to build those and then I'm going to put the ladders on the side and build the walkways on top. And then I'll show you it all when it's finished. Okay, I've finished expanding the animal breeding machine. I've been testing it, everything works just fine. Didn't really have any problems building the extra cells at the back. So if we climb up to the top here, yeah, you can see it's all finished. I've added some extra wall blocks in the middle so we can walk across without falling down. And the reason we've got the ladders is because we can't hop over the glass blocks at the back here because of the roof height. So that way we can access the top of this if anything goes wrong, we need to check something out. So anyway, I'll show you it in action. And yep, we're just going to climb up here so we can see it all as well. So let's bring them out. There you go, you can see they're all rotating. So all I have to do now is fill up all the cells with extra mushrooms and then it will be finished. I've now put some extra mushrooms into the breeding machine, so it's all finished. We have 5 cells, which means we've got 20 mushrooms, and each time we breed we can get 10 baby mushrooms. And I'm really happy with that now, it's all finished, and I want to move on to something else. One of the other things that I have to do is finish off the little storage area we have up here. And the first thing I'm thinking of doing is sorting out this pathway down here. At first I thought the stone was a problem, but I kind of like it how it is. It's just the lighting, so I'm going to remove this torch and that one down there and find a place to put in some glowstone or redstone lamps or maybe even jack-o'-lanterns, but just something to give it some proper lighting. And then down in here we didn't finish off our project with picking what we wanted to use under these half slabs and in the walls, and I've decided that I want to use bookshelves under the half slabs on these 3 sides, but over here I'm just going to leave it how it is. And then in the corners here I want to remove the bookshelves and put in more of these fence posts to give a little bit of detail, and then I think this will be finished. So let's take a look. I've sorted out this area here with some new sandstone blocks and also some redstone lamps for lighting instead of torches, and I put more of those in down here with some stone slabs on the ceiling. And then down in this room I've added the bookshelves and I've put the fence posts in the corner. But as well as this I've also put some half slabs on the ceiling. I think it looks a lot better. I haven't put it in these 2 just yet, and you can see the difference is quite noticeable. And then down the bottom nothing's changed either, so that's pretty much this room finished, and now we'll move on to something else. The next job that I need to do is finish tidying up the surface around the top of the wheat farm. I was supposed to do that in the episode that we made the wheat farm, but I forgot about that. And that includes doing the sides all the way around the side of Atlantis, so I'm going to spend some time tidying up the surface of the ocean and the side of Atlantis from here as well. And then after that we'll take a boat trip and have a look at it from all sides. And while I've been bobbing around in the water out of here, I've noticed something, and it could just be me, but I think I'm pretty right. When you drop into the water, I think the perspective changes. So if you watch, I'm going to drop into the water and this shape should get larger. Okay, so do you see that? It kind of looks like it gets larger. So I've done the same thing with the sides of this as well. I keep my eyes on the edges of Atlantis, and when I drop into the water it seems to get bigger. In fact, yeah, I'm definitely not imagining that, but yeah, that's something I've never noticed before. So basically the perspective, or the, I don't know, the angle that you're looking at changes when you drop into the water, which is quite interesting. I've cleaned up the surface all around this side, and I've reached the corner now which I've been working on, and in order to get the glowstone to light up on this side, I decided to rearrange the way I had it in the corner here. So unless I was to add a glowstone block underneath these blocks here, which would make the wall stand out at the corner, I wouldn't be able to get lighting here, and I didn't want to do that, so I decided to rearrange the inside a little bit. So if we have a look here, if I can hop up, nope, there we go. Yeah, so it's like that, and on the other side, we'll hop over there and have a look. You can see that it's different. We did have 3 glowstone blocks before, and what I did is remove those and replaced these 2 lapis blocks with glowstone, and that way we can see the glowstone on the outside, and I think it looks a little bit better, to be honest. And now what I'm going to do is build this wall. I've just realised, no, I haven't built that wrong. Okay, I thought I built it wrong for a second. But what we're going to do now is build a wall going all the way down here, and I think what I'm going to do is let the natural slope of the ocean cover up the wall as it gets further along, but I will try and make all of the light visible like it is here on the other side as well. From up here I'm not really too sure if I like how the wall is getting covered by the sand and stone on this side, so what I'm thinking of doing is digging it away up to this point, and so that mass of land there will be a bit smaller, and then hopefully the wall will look better. I've finished sorting the sides all the way around the outside, so now we can go have a look. Straight away, one thing I would point out is how it seems to end around here and then there's nothing but darkness there, and that doesn't look quite right, but that's nothing that I want to get into today. I want to get this all nice and finished up for the promotional video. And yeah, the front looks good as well. Tidied up all the dirt around the top there, replaced it with sand so it looked nice and smooth, and then round this side there wasn't really any trouble at all. It was quite simple and straightforward, and there we go. So that was as far as I got before I decided to start work on this project, and I guess we can continue with fixing things up around Atlantis. So I have a small little job that's quite interesting, and down here I built a workbench which I built a T flip-flop for, and that was to power these blocks in the corner and let the water out. So if we press the button you can see that it's a little bit slow before it reacts. So one of the things I wanted to do was power the T flip-flop, and I think this is called charging it or supercharging, and this is the T flip-flop here. So if you don't know how this works, I'd recommend go looking it up and yeah, checking it out. But basically the other side of that block is the button, so when it receives power it's going to get ready to activate the T flip-flop, and then when it becomes unpowered again, that's when the T flip-flop actually activates. So by powering it first, when that becomes unpowered, it's then going to activate the T flip-flop, and this will just make it a little bit faster because then it's already powered. When we press the button we unpower it, and then that's what makes the oh, I'm going the wrong way. That's what makes the pistons activate. So now when I press it, these blocks should rise up really quickly. There you go, and I think that's a lot better. So here's another change that I've made. I changed the blocks up the top here into half slabs, and that's because they were half slabs going all the way around the outside, and then all of a sudden they were full blocks again. So I think it looks better from down here and from above as well, as you can see. And there's only one more thing that I think I need to do to it, which is to bring that row of glass out across here, because it looks a bit odd compared to that side. So that's something I'll do in a moment. And then down here I've made this the same as the other side, same thing with the lights and the new sandstone blocks, but I haven't worked on the tunnel yet, and that's something I want to do soon. I was thinking of putting in a room with a bed, so when you're on your way in or out of Atlantis there's a room to sleep in if it's night time, and also if I'm just working around here and I want to set my spawn I can hop down these stairs. So that felt like a good location to put a little room in, and it would kind of match having a room on the other side as well where these stairs are. Turns out this isn't really a good location for a bed. Long story short, there's an ocean right above us, and that's made it ever so difficult to try and build here. So every time I remove some of these blocks, the water comes down, and that's why all of my torches have been knocked out. So I'm going to remove these half slabs and pick a different place to build a bed, but I'm not really sure where that will be at the moment. And I've also added the glass across the top here, and that does actually look so much better now. So that's that finished. So there's quite a lot of space here in the redstone room, and what I thought we could do is extend this wall back a fair bit so there's enough room to fit a bed in it, and then from the other side when we're in the quarry, which would be a likely place that you'd want to use a bed because as it gets dark there's risk of mobs coming over the top of the quarry, and yeah, you can just come and set your spawns. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'll have a look from the other side as well, and if I like it I'll build a little room here and put a bed in it. There we go, a nice place to put the bed, and what I've done here is copied the trim that we have on the side of the wall on the inside as well, so it all matches up. And while I've been up here I've been thinking about the floor, which is something I talked about earlier in the episode. I want to tidy all of this up and put in a nice pattern, so that's something I'm going to work on, try and come up with a couple of patterns that look good that we can use to cover the whole floor. And then we've also got these temporary farms that I need to clear, and why is there water leaking there? I bet an Enderman took that. Well, anyway, so I want to get rid of these two farms, and it got me thinking that perhaps we could keep the pumpkin farm and also make a melon farm like we have down in the branch mine, and just put them against the back of this wall here, and then all the redstone for them we could hide in the redstone room. So that seemed like a good idea. But anyway, first of all I'm going to dismantle these farms and then try and come up with a pattern that looks good. I've been making quite a few different patterns, but this is the first one that I've been really keen on, and some of the other ones that I made had grass in as well, which looked good but didn't seem to suit being in a quarry. So I decided to go get some more building materials, and over in that direction is a jungle biome, so that's where I got the jungle wood planks from, and I really like how this looks. But what I think I want to do is change the borders so that they're all sandstone, and then put the jack-o'-lantern in the middle of these patches of wood. There we go, that looks a lot better, and what I want to do now is probably build this a little bit bigger to see what it looks like as it starts to cover the floor. But one thing I want to do is move it back one block so that we can have a row of sandstone going against the wall, and I think that'll just look a little bit neater. And as well as that, I've also been thinking about using more than two types of wood planks, because that's going to get a bit bland and repetitive before long. So perhaps we could use all four different types of wood planks and have them going in diagonal rows, alternating colours. So I'll make the grid a bit bigger and then we can have a look at what it looks like. So at the moment I'm making the grid out of sandstone blocks that we're going to put all of the different wooden planks in the middle of, and it just so happens that it lines up with the stairs perfectly, and it's the same thing on the other side. But over there on the other side of the stairs there's room for one more block of wooden planks, and there isn't quite room over here, and it made me realise that this wall here is slightly shorter. So what I'm going to have to do is dig all of this back 2 blocks and then extend the wall out, and then it will be even on both sides. Here we go, I've now used all 4 different types of wooden plank, and I've also extended that over by 2 blocks so that everything fits in. And I really like how it looks, but we should have a look from up top as well and make sure that I'm happy with it before I decide to go and fill in all the rest of the quarry with it. And yeah, I do like it. It's a bit different from what I'd normally do, I think. It does look a little odd, but I kind of like it at the same time, so I'm going to go ahead and fill in the rest of the quarry with that pattern. Taking a second look at it, I kind of feel like the jack-o'-lanterns are what make it look a bit odd overall, so perhaps removing them might be a good idea, but I want to replace it with some sort of light source. So I was thinking that perhaps we could try redstone lamps and see what that looks like, but I get the feeling we'll have the same odd sort of look to it. So if that doesn't work, then what I'll do is I'll fill it in with the normal wood plank that's surrounding the jack-o'-lantern, and then just put a torch on top of it. Here it is with redstone lamps, and I really like that, and I didn't really want to use torches, so I'm probably actually going to change it so it's all made out of redstone lamps, which is a little bit expensive, but I can afford it. I've got plenty of redstone, so it just means I've got to take some trips to the nether to get some more glowstone. and from down here it looks good as well. At last I finished it all. It's taken me quite some time. I had to go to the Nether and get more glowstone, had to chop down a few more trees as well because I ran low on supplies, and I do really like it, but there's something odd about it and I can't quite put my finger on it. In fact, actually I do think I know what's wrong with it. I think the jungle wood and the dark wood doesn't look so good. I think it's maybe just these two that I should have used. But anyway, give me your opinions on that, leave a comment, let me know if you like this or not. And I think if I were to change it, I would make it so it would just alternate between the birchwood and the regular oakwood blanks. Down here at the wheat farm we have one little job left to do, and that's to sort out the light levels so that all of the crops can grow, because at the moment some of them over here can be planted but they don't actually grow. So I'm going to be moving these jack-o'-lanterns around and checking all of the light levels, and I'm probably going to have to put a few more in as well, and we'll take a look at that when it's done. I've now finished rearranging all of the jack-o'-lanterns, and every single block in here has at least a light level of 9 or above, directly above it. And the way I did this was by pressing F3. We have the XYZ on the left hand side, below that you have F, then you have LC, and along from that there's B and then BL, and BL stands for block light, and that's how I figured it out. I went round and checked for level 9, but the thing with the block light is it represents the block that is your head, so not the one that we're standing on or the block of air that we're standing in, it's the block directly above. So at this height here it's giving me the light level for. So anyway, I went round and checked that they were all 9, and they are, and now it's finished. We've now tied up most of the loose ends around Atlantis, and the one thing that we haven't done yet is sort out the pig breeding bay. And after doing some testing, it seems like the bug where the pig falls down through this block here and lands underneath is somewhat unfixable. I think it would need a redesign rather than a quick fix, so I'm going to have to leave that as it is for now. And then round the side here there was one other thing that I wanted to change, which was the piston that we had on the outside here. I wanted to try and get it back in there, and Justin Rand left me a comment and he said that I should have used glowstone, and I thought I did. I couldn't remember if I did or not, or even showed you, so I thought I would this time. And the problem with this is that it doesn't unpower, and that should be because there's a bud switch going on, but I can never seem to locate where that bud switch is, and I always thought it was this block here. So by using glowstone we're not going to power it, and therefore this shouldn't become a bud switch. So let's test this out. And there you go, it didn't retract. So I don't know why that doesn't retract. I can't figure out where it's being powered from, but it is being powered from somewhere. So unfortunately I'm going to have to put that back, and we won't be able to fix that today either. There's 3 things that I want to talk about before this episode's over. The first of which is the big project that I'm working on that you're going to find out about in the next episode. I really need to get on with doing that, and that's why I decided not to build the pumpkin and melon farms at the back here. So we'll probably save that for another day in the future. And the other thing is I've been reading the comments, and we've got the pick strategy down this time. What I'm going to be doing now is taking the picks that I don't really want, like this fortune free one, and combining it with one of my good ones when it's very nearly finished with. So this one obviously has a little bit of life left in it, and then that way we won't be trading in 2 unused picks. We'll make the most of one of our old ones, so we won't lose as many diamonds. And the other thing that I wanted to talk about, the last episode I may have given the impression that I was going to end the season or the show. Well, the season is going to end, but then it will just start again with a new one. So the show's going nowhere. I'm going to keep doing this. I'm enjoying it a lot, as well as doing Hermitcraft as well. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.